जय गोपीजनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यमुनातीरावनचारी यमुनातीरावनचारी जय राधमाधव कुञ्ज विहारी जय गोपीजनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जना यमुनातीरावनचारी यमुनातीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुञ्ज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुञ्ज विहारी जय कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्यभामा कृष्ण रुक्मिणी जय सत्यभामा
जय सत्यभामा
जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम
जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम
जय निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग
जय निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अस्तोत्तर सद डिवाइन ग्रेस एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिला प्रभुपाद की ISKCON BBT फाउंडर आचार्य ऑफ द होल वर्ल्ड जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वंदे की नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्भागवतम की वंदे देवी तुलसी महारानी की श्री कृष्णा रुक्मिणी सत्यभामा की श्री गौर निताय की जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो नारायणाय। 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 ओम नमो नारायणाय भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 2, entitled Lord in the Heart. Text 21. Tasmad Bhruvo Antaram Unnayeta. Tasmad Bhruvo Antaram Unnayeta. Tasmad Bhruvo Antaram Unnayeta. Niruddha Sapta Ayatanaha Anapekchaha. Niruddha Sapta Ayatano Anapekchaha. Niruddha Sapta Ayatano Anapekchaha. Sthitva Muhurta Ardham Akunta Drishti. Sthita Muhurta Ardham Akunta Drishti. Sthita Muhurta Ardham Akunta Drishti. Nirbhidya Murdhan Visajed Param Gataha. Nirbhidya Murdhan Visajed Param Gataha. Nirbhidya Murdhan Visajed Param Gataha. Tasmad Bhruvo Antaram Unnayeta. Niruddha Sapta Yatano Napekchaha. Sthita Murdardam Akunta Disti. Nirbhidya Murdhan Visajet Param Gataha. Tasmad Bhruvo Antaram Unnayeta. Niruddha Sapta Yatano Napekchaha. Sthita Murtardam Akunta Disti. Nirbhidya Murdhan Visajet Param Gataha. Tamurtadam Akunta Disti. Nirbhidya Murdham Visajet Param Gataha. Tasmad Bhruvo Antaram Unnayeta. Niruddha Sapta Yatano Napekchaha. Tamurtadam Akunta Disti. Word to word meaning. Tasmad, from there. Bhruvoho, of the eyebrows. Antaram, in between. Unnayeta, should be brought in. Niruddha by blocking. Sapta 7. Ayatanaha outlets of the life air. Anapekshaha independent of all material enjoyment. Istitva by keeping. Muhurta of a moment. Ardham half. Akunta back home, back to Godhead. Drishtihi one whose aim is targeted like that. Nirbhidya punching. Murdhan the cerebral hole. Visajed should give up his body. Param the supreme. Gataha having gone to. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Thereafter, the Bhakti Yogi should push the life air up between the eyebrows and then blocking the 7 outlets of the life air. He should maintain his aim for going back home, back to Godhead. If he is completely free from all desires for material enjoyment, he should then reach the cerebral hole and give up his material connections, having gone to the Supreme. Translation with repetition. Thereafter, the Bhakti Yogi should push the life air up between the eyebrows and then blocking the 7 outlets of the life air. He should maintain his aim for going back home, back to Godhead. If he is completely free from all desires for material enjoyment, he should then reach the cerebral hole and give up his material connections, having gone to the Supreme. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The process of giving up all material connections and returning home back to Godhead, the Supreme, is recommended here. The condition is that one should be completely freed from the desire for material enjoyment. There are different grades of material enjoyments in respect of duration of life and sensual gratification. The highest plane of sensual enjoyment for the longest period of life is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 9.20. All are but material enjoyments, and one should be thoroughly convinced that he has no need of such a long duration of life. Even in a Brahmaloka planet, he must return home back to Godhead and must not be attracted by any amount of material facilities. In a Bhagavad Gita 2.59, it is said that this sort of material detachment is possible to attain when one is acquainted with the supreme association of life. Param dasta nivartate. One cannot be freed from the material attraction unless he has complete understanding of the nature of spiritual life. The propaganda by a certain class of impersonalists that the spiritual life is a void of all varieties is a dangerous propaganda to mislead the living beings into become more and more attracted by material enjoyments. As such, persons with a poor fund of knowledge cannot have any conception of the Param, the Supreme. They try to stick to the varieties of material enjoyment, although they may flatter themselves as being the Brahman realized souls. Such less intelligent persons cannot have any conception of Param, as mentioned in this verse, and therefore they cannot reach the Supreme. The devotees have full knowledge of spiritual world, the personality of Godhead, and his transcendental association in unlimited spiritual planets called Vaikuntha Lokas. Herein, Akuntadristihi is mentioned. Akunta and Vaikuntha convey the same import, and only one who has his aim fixed upon that spiritual world and a personal association with the Godhead can give up his material connections even while living in the material world. This Param and the Param Dhama mentioned in several places in the Bhagavad Gita are one and the same thing. One who goes to the Param Dhama does not return to the material world. This freedom is not possible even by reaching the topmost loka of the material world. The life air passes through the 7 openings, namely 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, and 1 mouth. Generally, it passes through the mouth at the time of ordinary man's death. But the yogi, as above mentioned, who controls the life air in his own way, generally releases life air by puncturing the cerebral hole in the head. The yogi therefore blocks off all above mentioned 7 openings so that the life air will naturally burst forth through the cerebral hole. This is the sure sign of great devotees living the material connection. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakya Chakshur Ulmitam Enaha Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatire Satarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So these days there is a mega event that is going on in India. That's most celebrated event across the globe. And that event is Kumbh Mela. So, Kumbh Mela is a place where the people like sadhus, especially the Naga sadhus, as well as some kind of sages who are doing tapasya in a different, some secluded places, they come out in a such occasion and go to the Kumbh Mela. And they take this auspicious occasion, they take a dip in a Sangam or different, these 4 places of Kumbh Mela, which happens in a different part of India. So Kumbh Mela, these sages, they visit and they take the opportunity to purify themselves. So here in today's verse, Srila Prabhupada explains in a translation, the yogi should push the life air up between the eyebrows and then blocking the 7 outlets of the life air. He should maintain his aim for going back home, back to Godhead, if he is completely free from all desire for material enjoyment. He should then reach the cerebral hole and give up his material connection, having gone to Supreme. So these sadhus who are visiting Kumbh Mela, they are practicing such kind of severe austerity in their life. Generally, they reside in a secluded place like Himalaya or some cave or jungle. They are residing there and they are doing so much tapasya. And with the tapas sakti, they want to achieve something. So these sadhus or rishis or Naga Babas who are participating, finally their ultimate goal is, let me realize the existence of the God. And there are different ways. Like we know that Srimad-Bhagavatam explains there are 3 aspects of realization of God. So they may be in a beginning stage or maybe second stage or third stage. Okay, like Brahman realization, Paramatma realization and Bhagwan realization, they are engaged in that process to realize the presence of God. So they may be following maybe karma yoga process, or Ashtanga yoga process, or Jnana yoga process, or Bhakti yoga process. So they are engaged in different kind of process. So as we see, Bhakti yoga process, that's not so easy to obtain. That only can be obtained by the mercy of the pure devotee Mahabhagavata. So just like Srila Prabhupada, he opened the ISKCON across the world, across the globe, and the Bhakti, Krishna Bhakti, that distributed by the pure devotee. So the love, whatever the Bhakti and devotion for Krishna, then it can be only obtained by the mercy of pure devotee. There is no other way. So Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, this, whatever this bhakti, I cannot give so easily. It cannot be given. It can be only given by the pure devotee. Because pure devotee, they are constantly engaged in a service of the Lord. Like Srila Prabhupada lifestyle, you see, from the very early age of his life to the last, when he left this planet, 24/7, he was engaged in a service of the Lord, constantly. Even though in an advanced age, advanced life, Prabhupada, he was traveling across the globe, and due to travel from one country to another country, suppose somebody traveling from India to the US, then the time zone is different. So here the day in the US it will be night. When person reaches there, then that jet light effect will be there, jet light. So not easy to adopt the jet light change. So body, mind, system, it will not so easily get absorbed into that. So it takes time. But in spite of such inconveniences, Prabhupada was constantly engaged in service of the Lord. No time in his life like he is a free or nothing like that. Every moment, either Prabhupada is writing Srimad-Bhagavatam, or dictating, or giving lectures, or giving personal association, or engage in a temple construction and preaching activity across the world. So that was the activity of Prabhupada into the Bhakti Yoga process. And Bhakti Yoga process, so easy process, so easy. Why is so easy? It involves just follow the instruction of pure devotee, just like Prabhupada told, just chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra, follow 4 regulative principles, and at home, or if you are nearby the temple, you can visit the temple, participate in morning program. So this is the way we can develop love for Krishna. Jai Sri Krishna Satyabhama ki jai. So this process, Susutam Kartum Avyam, the Bhakti Yoga process is very easy process. But the same time is very difficult. If somebody in a core of the heart, he has not accepted Lord and his pure devotee, he has not accepted, he has some other way in a mind, he cannot perform Bhakti Yoga process. So, as today's verse, these yogis, so Prabhupada is explaining about this yogis, how this yogi, they leave this planet. So they choose a specific time, then they can leave this body. So that is explained by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, 8th chapter, that is entitled Attaining the Supreme. So in the 8th chapter, Lord explains how the person should leave this world and attain the spiritual world. Verse number 83. Yeah. So Lord says in 8th chapter, verse number 23rd, Yat kale to anavritim avritim chaiva yoginaha prayata yanti tam kalam vakshami bhartasya. Translation goes like this: O best of Bharatas, I shall now explain to you different times at which, passing away from this world, one does or does not come back to this world. So next, Lord explains, those who know the Supreme Brahman passes away from this world during the influence of fiery God. In the light, at auspicious moment during the forenight of the moon and 6 months when sun travels to northern side. So we say Uttarayana and Dakshinayana. So now Uttarayana is started already, Makar Sankranti onwards. Now sun starts traveling toward the northern side. So Uttarayana, this 6 month, after that again 6 months with Dakshinayana. So Krishna is telling somebody who wants to leave this body and go back to the kingdom of the God, then he has to select a specific time. And that particular time, what is the time? He should be in Uttarayana. Then it should be daytime, not in a night, dark time. So next, Lord explains the people who passes away from this world, during the dark time or smoke or night time, and when the sun travels towards southern direction. So people who passes in Dakshinayana, they never go back to Godhead or spiritual kingdom. They cannot achieve the spiritual sky. So there are two ways of passing away from this world. So why it is so important to why it is focused in a Vedic literature, passing away, not maintaining the whole life. When birth is there, after birth and death, during this journey, that why the focus is given at the time of death. Why passing away is more important than the taking birth. So that Prabhupada explains, passing away is more important because that at the time of death, whatever will be thinking, whatever will be our consciousness, mentality, that kind of body we get next life. So Lord says, yam yam vapi smanam bhavam tajentam kalevaram. So Lord says, ki at the time of death, whatever you are thinking, that kind of body you will get. Suppose some people, they will be doing surfing in the ocean. They are too much fond of doing surfing in the ocean. They go ocean, take bath and doing some wave surfing. So such kind of people, whole life, they are immersed such kind of mentality. So at the time of death, they will be thinking of surfing only. So next life, they get a body of fish. Then fish can nicely remain in the water whole life. There is no need to come out from the water. Be there happy. You wanted to be happy in the water, be happy in the water always. So that is important. That is more important at the time of death. What is our consciousness? What is our thinking? So that is more important. That's why stress is given. And at the time of death, that and the beginning of life, whatever karma we have done, based on the karma, guna, kala, karma, then that next life will be decided. So taking birth in any maybe rich family, or taking birth in a very righteous family, or maybe Brahmana family, so that is also explained by the Lord. Lord says the yogis like Naga Baba, so many yogis, they are doing so much tapasya, but ultimately the most important, ultimately they are going to attain the supreme or not. That is the point. Suppose you are working 30 days in office. What is the ultimate result? At least 31st salary should be credited. You get the message. Yes, your salary is credited and this. Suppose 30 days you worked, 31 days, 30 days, but there is no salary. Then who will work? No point of working. So ultimate, whatever yogis is doing, he should meet the success in life. If there is no success in his life, so endeavor is wastage. So that's why Krishna is explaining, and today's verse also, Sukadeva Goswami is explaining to Parikshit Maharaj. Yogi should leave his prana vayu or life air in a 6 chakras. So just like yogis, they do some kind of dhyanam and this pranayama and air circulation in the body. So, like body, different chakras are situated. So, Prabhupada explains in some other purports. So, like navel. So, life air is there below the navel. And life air reaches to the next level that comes to the chest level. From the chest is go to the heart level. then goes to the throat level, then go to the tongue palate level. So the life air of the yogi, through his process, he has to elevate. He has to elevate the prana vayu. And while elevating, at last he should reach to the cerebral hole, that the top of the head. So success of the yogi happens when he can leave this body, and this prana vayu, or we say the soul, it should come out by puncturing the cerebral hole, that top of the head. From that it should come out. So the elevation from different chakras to the highest point is a cerebral hole. So that is what I explained today's words. And most important thing, Prabhupada says, if he is completely free from all desires for material enjoyment, he should then reach cerebral hole and give up his material connection. So our body got encaged, our soul got encaged in this body, got stuck up in this body. The soul, the prana vayu, when living, it has leave the material connection. If material connection is not gone, then again the soul will be carried by the subtle body, and again he is destined to take another birth, and the birth and death cycle will go on. So yogis, they are trying to come out, trying to execrate the cycle of birth and death. So the process is given. So this process is a mechanical process. Ashtanga yoga, this yoga is a mechanical process. Just like Saubhari Muni in a Srimad-Bhagavatam explains, Saubhari Muni, he wanted to practice this Ashtanga yoga process, and he was searching the place where I can do this Ashtanga yoga process very peacefully. So finally he concluded, let me go underneath the water. He went to the river, Yamuna river, and underneath the water, he went inside the water of Yamuna river and sat down and started doing meditation. So meditation on, again, is a Brahman at that level. So he was meditating on Brahman. Suddenly he is like Ashtanga yogi, that as per the process of Ashtanga yoga, he has to open half eyes. Eyes should be half closed, half open. He cannot close eyes completely, otherwise he will sleep off. If open the eye, then all distraction, all around distraction. He cannot execute his process, that process. So he was partially seeing that outside world. Then he saw two fishes, they were copulating. They were doing sex enjoyment. So by seeing this enjoyment, that Saubhari Muni, the great tapasvi, immediately, just by this material contact, immediately he fell down from his position. And then he developed the desire, let me also enjoy the sex life. Just by seeing two fishes are copulating. Then immediately he came out from the water and went out and approached the king, Mandhata. So Mandhata has 50 daughters. So he got married with the Mandhata's daughter and trying to enjoy with all his wives. In fact, that story is shortcut. Because Saubhari Muni, he was doing tapasya from long time. His body was completely pale, weak. So through his tapasakti, he resonated his body, youth body, young body. Then Mandhata told, okay, now if my daughters are ready to marry with you, as of now you are old. Now you have transformed your body in a good body, beautiful body, handsome body. Now, if you ask my daughters, if they are willing to marry with you, you can marry. Then all 50 daughters, they married to the Saubhari Muni, and Saubhari Muni enjoyed with them longer time. And finally, one day, Saubhari Muni was contemplating what I was, what I am now. He was thinking, I was practicing this bhakti, this Ashtanga yoga process inside the water. I went inside the water so that I can peacefully execute this process and attain the supreme. But finally what happened? He was caught up under the clutches of illusory energy of the Lord. So he was contemplating, and finally he decided, I'll give up my kingdom, I'll give up my all 50 wives, and then he left everything and he followed. He went to the forest and again he started doing this process, Ashtanga Yoga process. And this time he was very careful. So by seeing such a elevated thought, all 50 wives of Saubhari Muni, they also followed, and finally, along with their husband, they went back to Godhead. So we can see, like today's verse, Prabhupada explaining the yogis, Ashtanga yogis, the process which they are following, that is mechanical process. And there is a chance, every chance to fall down in that process. So Lord Bhagavatam explains, Padam padam yat vipadam na tesam. So every moment there is a danger. Every moment. We don't know. We are going outside, maybe next moment there will be death. Just like some days back in a Jaipur, there was a tanker, one gas tanker was going on. It was early morning around 4:30, something, 4:30. And from that side, one truck was coming. So there was collapse. This tanker and the gas tanker and the truck, and heavy blast, that gas got released, and all around, huge, like many houses got burnt, many people died, surrounding all buses, they all got burnt. So we can see the people in the previous night, they were traveling, or maybe morning 4 a.m., they were thinking, I'm going to reach destination, but don't know, next moment, that was waiting. So any moment that can take away us. So this process, like Ashtanga Yoga process, is not a perfect process. Is a partial process. We can attain with the great difficulty. We can realize the Paramatma features of the Lord. So step by step, Sukadeva Goswami explaining to the Parikshit Maharaj. This process also not complete. Go to next level, next process. So further you'll see how the Bhakti Yoga process he will explain later. So in today's verse, that is the main thing. As whatever yogic process is not a complete process. We cannot achieve what we can achieve, like Supreme Personality of Godhead. That feature we cannot achieve with the help of Ashtanga Yoga process. So one more, like a pastime is explained Srimad-Bhagavatam, Bharat Maharaj. So Bharat Maharaj in his life, early life, he was a king of this Bharatavarsha. That's why the name of this entire land, not only this geographical India, entire earth planet was named as Bharat. So Bharat Maharaj, he left his kingdom, opulent kingdom, he left his wife, children, everything, and he went to the forest for attaining the Supreme, for attaining the God. So, as we know that from Srimad-Bhagavatam, he started doing the Ashtanga Yoga process. So he was doing some sacrifice also, So when he was absorbed in such process, one day it so happened, he happened to see one small baby of deer. So by seeing the deer, he became very much compassionate. So Bharat Maharaj, being a devotee of the Lord, one of the quality compassion. They are too much compassionate on the other living entity. So Bharat Maharaj saw small deer, so small, and no one is there to take care of that baby deer. He brought it to his ashrama, or where he was staying. So gradually, every day, he was doing his sacrifice and whatever meditation. In between, he was taking care of that baby deer. So gradually, down the line, he got attached to the deer. Suppose deer was not visible for 5 minutes, then he used to see. Even though he was doing meditation, opening the eyes and see, where is a deer, where it's gone, oh, it is in danger or something, whether the deer has taken food or not. He was constantly contemplating about the deers, not to the process what he was following. Supposed to follow that process. So, Bharat Maharaj, he neglected his duties, regular duties. He left his kingdom, wife, everything. He came to the forest for the self-realization, for the God realization. And what he's doing now? He was playing with the deers. In his mind, constantly thinking about the deers. Take care of the deer, protecting the deer, and playing with the deer like this. So finally, when one day so happened, the deer got disappeared. Then he became too much anxious. Oh, where deer has gone? He was searching all around. Then he could not find. He became too much panic and he fell down and finally he left his body. So at the time of death, he was thinking about deer. So as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, yam yam vapi smanam bhavam tajentam kalevaram. At the time of death, whatever you are thinking, Bharat Maharaj was thinking about deer. So next life he got a body of deers. So that is a nature law. So we cannot surpass the nature law. We cannot go against the stringent or strong laws of nature. We cannot surpass. So next life he accepted the body of deer, and in that life he was able to remember his previous life. Why he was able to remember his previous life? I was the king, I left everything, I was practicing this Ashtanga Yoga process, meditation process. Because in a previous life, with the Ashtanga Yoga process, he has reached certain level. And in that level, Bhava stage, he was able to connect with the Lord. He was able to remember the Lord in a previous life. So Lord became so much merciful upon that is Bharat Maharaj. So Lord gave one more chance to him in next life. You can just come out from the cycle of birth and death and go back to kingdom of the God. So next life, even though Bharat Maharaj Atma, that soul, was in a body of deer, is still remembering all the activities. So that deer went to nearby ashrams, and that ashrama, some people like in transcendentalist, bhakti yogis, they are doing all the bhakti yoga process or sacrifice also, chanting the holy name of the Lord also. So the deer next to them, he was next to them and constantly hearing all this thing, hearing and attending all this whatever activity they were doing. And this deer was not going away from that ashram for just go and just eat or sleep or enjoy. No, because Bharat Maharaj had taken the vow, I don't want to lose this life, even though I'm in a body of deer. So then in that life, he got the association of those bhakti yogis, and finally he left his body, and third life, he got a opportunity to take a birth as a Jala Bharata. So third life, again God, Krishna has given opportunity to finish his duties, finish his sadhana, finish his devotional service to the Lord. In a third life, Jalat Bharata, he did not get distracted. He determined, I will not touch any sense gratification in this life. I will not do anything. So he became Jala. Jala means nothing, he was not doing anything. Any material activity he was not doing. His father is telling, go and you go and wash your clothes. He did not wash. After passing his stool, wash your hand. He was doing ulta. He was washing hand first, then passing his stool. All ulta he was doing. Because in a core of the heart, he wanted to show, I will not engage in any material activity. I don't want to lose this human life again. Human life is a given chance by the Lord to reach the kingdom of the God. He doesn't want to lose this life. So that opportunity. So finally, Jala Bharata, he did not do any material activity. Forcefully his father sent for study. He did not study at all. And he did not do any material activity. Finally, when he got married, then he did not live with his wife also. Because he doesn't want to engage in all this material enjoyment activity. He doesn't want to get any material connection in this world. He wanted to aloof from the material engagement. So finally, Jala Bharata, as we know, furthermore, this Jala Bharata, then Jala Bharata, like the Rahugana, the king, that pastime furthermore explains, like how he was carrying the palanquin, Jala Bharata, with the help of other carriers, on the way, carrying the palanquin, and the king, Raghugana, he was sitting on the palanquin, and Jalabharata, he was carrying the palanquin very zigzag manner, zigzag, like this, zigzag. Then king asked, why you are doing all this nonsense? Your whole life you are doing nonsense, now also doing nonsense. Then he started explaining the philosophy of God realization, self-realization. Then Rahugana understood he is a not ordinary man, he is a self-realized, he is a Mahabhagavata. Then immediately he begged pardon to that Jalabharata and asked, who are you? Please reveal your identity. Then conversation started. Then he gave the knowledge of self-realization to Rahugana, and Rahugana took it and practiced it. So now we can see Bharat Maharaj pastime, first life, how he left entire kingdom, went to the forest and started doing this Ashtanga Yoga process, and finally he became attached to the deer, neglected his duties, spiritual duties. Second life got a chance of becoming deer. Still remembering the previous life is a mistake. He did not want to do any material activity. Furthermore, in the third life, he got opportunity as a Jada Bharata. And in that life, he was very, very cautious. Very, very cautious. I will not do any material activity. In this life only I want to go back to Godhead. So, how the process of Ashtanga Yoga is a dangerous. Every moment, as Bhagavatam explains, Padam Padam Yad Pipadam Yat Na Tesam. Every moment danger is there. Maya is waiting, that negative energy of the Lord, externally energy of the Lord is waiting to capture us. And that external energy of the Lord, Maya Devi, doesn't allow us to go to Krishna. So constantly Maya Devi will put the barrier between the soul and the super soul, the Lord. So the process is that explain this Ashtanga Yoga process is not so accurate process. It's give only partial realization of the God. And ultimate realization of the God is a Bhagavan feature of the Lord. So Bhakti Yoga process, that is teaching us to love the God. And when we are loving the God, we get all protection from the God. Need not fear of material energy or Maya Devi. Other like Ashtanga Yogi, they are doing their own endeavor. With their own endeavor, they are trying to control the mind. They are negating everything. No, I will not do this material activity. So they are putting their energy. But here in a Bhakti Yoga process, all protection comes from the Lord. Lord is protecting. When Lord is protecting, then this external energy of the Lord cannot do anything. It cannot do, because Lord protection is there. Ultimately, this external energy of the Lord, it belongs to the Lord. When Lord decides, this energy cannot act against us. So, as explained in a Gita also, Lord explains, see, who has surrendered to me, those, the devotees who have surrendered to me, this material energy cannot influence. It cannot take away from Krishna. But Maya Devi will put the obstruction, because Maya Devi has got one mission in this material world. So Maya Devi is trying to help us to elevate ourselves, so that we can ultimately, in a core of the heart, we can give up all material enjoyment, material connection with this world, and finally we can decide to go back to Godhead only. There is no other way. So this Bhakti Yoga process, as explained by the Lord, so easy to perform. In contrast, like other process, like a Jnana Yoga process, Dhyana Yoga process, or Ashtanga Yoga process, is not so perfect compared to the Bhakti Yoga process. So that is explained, that is Prabhupada recommends the Bhakti Yoga process, that is the ultimate process. And the result which is achieved through the Bhakti Yoga process, that surpasses all the result we achieve from the different process. So take up this process, which is so easy and which is going to give the ultimate result in a life. So these are some of the points which Srila Prabhupada explains in this verse. The yogi should leave his body at particular specific by elevating all the chakras, and finally from the whole, this top head of that, he has to release the prana vayu, soul from here, and by thinking of the Lord, and without any material attachment. If there is a material attachment, then again he has to go again the next life. Again, if there is a birth, then again there is a death. Then whole life, birth to death, that journey has to go again, once again. So traversing on different species, different planets, and trying to enjoy, that is not going to help. That is not going to help. So the Prabhupada explained, so in a Krishna conscious process, just like Prabhupada compares two processes, just like Durvasa Muni. So Durvasa Muni, he was yogi. In contrast, Amrish Maharaj, he was devotee. He was having so much like a tapasakti. Amrish Maharaj, he was devotee of the Lord. He is simple devotee of the Lord. He does not have anything. Anyway, he was king of entire planet. In contrast, Durvasa Muni, so much tapasakti, so much power. And you see the result. Durvasa Muni finally has to beg pardon to the Amrish Maharaj because he could not control his anger, could not control his senses. He surrendered to the devotee of the Lord. So we can see the result. How, like one process, Bhakti Yoga process, how much is highest, a topmost process, another process, maybe Ashtanga Yoga process, how who are following Ashtanga Yoga process, they are surrendering to the, finally to the Bhakti Yoga process. So that is the sum and substance of this verse, which with this will end here. Srimad-Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari.